Alright, what is up guys, I'm XPHD Bandit and welcome back to the Geeks 189. Now, it's been a while guys and I'm very sorry for that. I've had very little time recently, but of course moving past all that, I have a very interesting unboxing for you guys today. So, as you guys can see right now in front of us, we actually have the PlayStation VR starter pack with VR worlds. Now you can also see that we've got 3 more VR required games on here, and of course the Move controllers as well. Now to start with guys, I would just like to let you all know that this right here is a bundle that was all made possible by the great guys over at Game in Boston. This bundle right here actually cost me £290, which, to be honest guys, is pretty good price for everything that's included in this. So, just to run over everything that is here with you guys. So, starting off guys, we have the VR starter pack. That's this right here. Now, as I'm sure most of you will be aware, the starter pack actually contains, of course, the VR headset itself, the V2 PlayStation camera, and of course a copy of PlayStation Worlds. Now, also as well, I have a copy of The Persistence, which actually came, as I mentioned, as part of the bundle. This is a VR horror game, I believe, a sci-fi horror game. So I'll have a bit of a better look at that at some point on the channel. Then of course we've got Battlezone right here. So this is sort of like a retro style sci-fi tank battle game. So you essentially get sort of digital style tanks, and of course you are sat in the cockpit of one using the VR headset as sort of your heads-up display. Then, of course, finally, we have Bravo Team right there. So, from what I'm aware, guys, this is essentially a SWAT game. So, you take on the role of a SWAT team, or a member of a SWAT team. Again, this is a VR required game. And pretty much, guys, as I mentioned, with all 3 of these games, we will likely show them on the channel at some point soon. Also, as well, over here, as I mentioned, we actually have the Move controllers right here. Of course, not essential for VR, as you can control the VR with the DualShock controller on its own. But, of course, to really experience the full VR experience, you, of course, want the VR Move controllers. So, of course, you do need 2 Move controllers, 1 for each hand, for it to work reliably. Now, they have actually started selling these, as you guys can see right here, in a twin pack now. So, as you guys can see on there, it literally just says it's for PlayStation VR, which really, guys, to be honest, now for PS4, the Move controllers really only are used for VR. Of course, you can use them for other games as well without VR, but the main purpose of it now is, of course, VR. So, we're going to get straight into the unboxing, and I'll be back with you guys in a second when we are ready to go. Alright guys, so we're going to get straight on with unboxing the VR. Alright, so now we've actually taken the sort of the main box out of the display box, and we're now going to go ahead and open that up. Of course, you guys can see on here we've got the PlayStation emblem right there. So we'll just go ahead and open it straight up. So instantly, of course, we can see, after we take the bubble wrap out of the way, that we actually have the quick start guide. That is the first thing on the top right there. You guys can see that there. All the information we need to get going. So in here, of course, it just tells us all about what's in the box. Tells us we've got the headset. We've got, of course, the cables for it, which actually includes the headphones. We've of course got every single cable we need for it, and all the printed documentation as well. So it actually tells us on here how it is that we work everything on here. So if we just look around a second, we can actually see, of course, how we actually mount these in right here. I'm fairly sure you do actually have the ability to use your own headsets with this, since I have of course seen it being used quite a bit before. So the stereo headset essentially plugs into the bottom there, and we do that. I will give a full setup guide of this later on, but of course, as you'd expect, plug it all in and run all of that. So for now guys, we'll actually just leave that to one side. So next up guys, we've actually got of course the we have of course got the box containing many of our materials right here. I presume this box probably contains the camera and all of the cables. So you guys can see right there, of course, we've got the processor unit, stereo headset, of course the power adapter and an HDMI cable on there. But I'm sure there is much more in here as well. So we'll quickly just open this up to take a look what is inside. Okay guys, so we'll just quickly go over what's inside this box. So, starting off then, we have of course got our code for VR Worlds right there. We'll put that to one side. We do of course also as well have a screen cleaner for the VR. Not really necessary, but we've got a very nice printed PlayStation VR screen cleaner right there. Next up we have of course got our AC power cord, so we'll put that back in there. We've got the manual and the information there for the PlayStation camera, the PlayStation VR, and the Sony guarantee booklets over there. Of course, not really too important right now. But also as well, guys, as I mentioned, we have got the camera right there as well. You guys can see that, and we've of course got the mount for the camera right there as well, so we can mount it onto our TV if we need to. Looks like we've got a bit of an AC power adapter on there. We've got the stereo headset in there. We do of course have the VR processor unit in here as well. So there's of course the AC adapter, fairly standard, nearly like the one that comes with a laptop. We've actually got a spare HDMI cable in here, which is quite nice. And of course, as I mentioned a second ago, we actually have the VR processor unit. So pretty big box this, right? But of course VR is quite taxing of course on a console, and actually this has been built, guys, you guys can see, to really suit the console. It's been built to go obviously evidently right next to it, and it is very stunning, incredibly nice. So you guys can see of course we've got here the connection for the TV on there. So that of course will send a HDMI signal back out to our TV if we of course don't wish to use the VR at the time, or if we've got other people in the room, they can actually sit and watch this whilst we are using it. Then of course we've got our HDMI from our PS4, and of course we have got a USB connection on the back there. Then of course we've got the power connections there, and on the front we can actually see that we've got the two connections right there for the VR headset itself. So it's quite a big processor unit, guys. A little bigger than I was expecting, but to be honest, guys, I did expect that this thing would be reasonably sized, of course, considering it is helping the PS4 to run VR. Hopefully with the Pro it should look even better as well. So we'll have a good look at that whilst we test it. But for now, guys, we'll put that back. Of course, we need to move on to the next part of the unboxing. So, of course, next up, guys, we actually want to look at the headset itself. So, we'll just quickly put all of this away, and then we will, of course, come back to it. Okay, guys, so now for of course, the centerpiece of the starter pack, and that is, of course, right here we've actually got a USB cable. It looks like this is actually a controller cable. So it's quite nice that they've given us a spare one of those. Presumably it is for the Move controllers, but it may have somewhere to go on the headset as well. So, of course, don't quote me on that one. In fact, guys, if I remember rightly, I do believe this does plug into the processor unit that we saw down there. I believe it actually does run it. It allows the PS4 to directly communicate with the processor unit, presumably to tell it when something's coming up. And of course, guys, as I mentioned, the centerpiece of all of this, that is the PSVR headset. So, of course, guys, if you've seen anything of this headset before, you'll know it is very, very stylish, very stunning right here. So, when it actually gets running, of course, we have a light on the front here. This directly indicates to the PS4 where we are looking. Of course, we have these lights around here as well. There's two on there and two on there that actually help it locate the headset, help the camera locate the headset. We've of course got the PlayStation symbol on the side there. We've got a little bit here for actually putting headphones into. Again, as I said, guys, I don't believe it's completely necessary to use this. And if you do wish, you can, of course, use your own headset. There is, of course, the connections right there, in case you actually want to plug the headset in. In case you want to plug the headset, of course, into the processor unit right there. So there's all the connections that we saw on the processor unit earlier. And, of course, on the headset as well, we have actually got the adjusters there. We've got a couple more lights on the back there to help with locating it. And of course we can now look straight down the headset itself, right there. Underneath as well, guys, you can see we've actually got a power button on the bottom there. Rather interestingly, it's actually on the bottom of the headset this time. We actually have a few other connections on there as well. There is a mute button for the microphone on there. And of course there's a plus and a minus button there for the volume. We have a little speaker on the bottom there as well, or I believe ventilation, potentially. And then, of course, guys, we actually have a little aux connection over here so that we can plug our headsets in. Now, I believe, as I said, you can use third-party headsets with this. And what I've just noticed as well, guys, is there is, of course, another light there and another light there. So that right there, guys, is the VR headset. So there's not actually anything else with this. There's nothing else in the box. So that is pretty much it for the headset, guys. So I will actually quickly just do the Move controllers as well. So I'll be back in a second when I have those ready for you. Okay, guys, so as I mentioned, the final part of this video, I will show you guys the Move controllers right here. So, finally then, we'll just go and open up the box on the Move controllers. Of course, we've got all the information on the back there about what this is, but we already know, so of course we don't need to check that. So, we'll just open all of this up quickly, and it looks like the box just sort of opens quite nicely here. And we've actually got both the Move controllers just straight in there. So, we've of course there got our first Move controller right here. Very pretty things, of course. These ones are actually built differently, of course, to the PS3 ones. They may look the same, but if you look very carefully, there are a few things missing, such as, of course, right here we've got a little light instead of the 4 lights that used to be on these, I believe. We've got a wrist strap for each one. So you guys can see the other one right there is almost identical to it. So I presume we actually would set which one of these we want to use as the primary. And then, of course, as I mentioned, of course, we've got these wrist straps right here. There's, of course, 2 of these right here, one for each one. Of course, we've got the charging port on the bottom there. It uses the PS4 controller's charging ports. So we'll actually just check. No, there isn't a charging cable in the box, guys, but of course, as I just mentioned, you do actually use the cable that came with your PS4 to charge each of these individually. Alternatively, of course, the charging cable that I mentioned for the processor unit of the headset can also be used to charge these too. Alright then, guys, so that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found it interesting seeing what the VR and the Move look like. And of course, guys, if you did, then please drop a like below. If you have any questions about anything that you've seen today, then of course drop those in the comments below. If there is anything you would like to see that I haven't shown you, then of course drop that in the comments as well too. And finally, guys, of course, if you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any more of our content. So thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.